Well, Sebastian, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I think, first of all, ahead of London, how has training been going for you? Where have you been doing your key sessions? What's your weekly mileage looking like? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good now, training well, preparing well, and my training now is going well, and mostly doing 200 kilometers per week, and everything I think for now preparing for London is going well.
Yeah. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. In terms of your preparation for London, we don't see you do any races before, any half marathons. We don't tend to anyway. Is that something that just works best for you?
Yeah, from my plan since I ran marathon, I plan to see how to run marathon aside from running half marathon and other races. But it's not mean that I will not able to run again and half marathon or other races, but was to focus a little bit on marathon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the things that we don't see with all your training, I mean, we see some of your rivals. We see them in other races, line up in other half marathons around the world before they take part in one of the big major marathons. But in training, do you do any time trials, any kind of official races over certain distances during your training cycle to give you a mark of maybe where you are at in your training?
No, it's just preparing only in training, not even trying to do such events like that. Yeah.
Your coach, Claudio Berardelli, who we saw just before we started this interview, he works with some big name athletes from 800 meters all the way up to the marathon. That's a big range. What is it about him that works so well for you since you started working with Claudio?
For me, he has been a nice coach. He has good training program and has a good group of runners, and he has done a lot to make us run well. And he's a nice coach for me because the far I am is because of him, and I thank him for that. And we really, as a group, we really thank him. Yeah.
Your uncle, I think, was an 800-meter runner. Is that right? Yeah. Do you ever join in with any of Emmanuel Wanyonyi's sessions?
Sorry?
Do you ever join in yourself with Emmanuel Wanyonyi's sessions?
I can say Wanyonyi joined us mostly when preparing, like starting his training from off season. He always join us for some speed walks and mostly hill walks. So he mostly join us when he's starting his training.
About you and your marathons, your unbeaten run. I mean, you've made it look very easy. You must feel invincible. You must feel so strong when you're on that start line, knowing what you have done before.
I think for me, it's because how I've prepared myself. So I always feeling filled with courage of how I have done a lot preparing for my races, and that encouragement give me that results that I've never been beaten in most races. So I'm mostly courageous about how I've been preparing for it.
And you have a lot of courage in those races, which we'll come to in a moment. Your journey to specialize in marathons, you only made your debut in 2024, late 20s. And you said, there's a quote from you that says, "My focus was education first, then I run." So how much did you run in your teenage years? When was it something that you thought could become your job? your profession?
Back in my primary session, I used to like running, and that's where I realized I had a talent to run, and I continued doing it. Going to secondary level, I ran a little bit, not much, than how I ran in primary level. And then after completing my secondary level, then I start joining groups, running together. And I remember in 2020, that's the year I realized myself I had good potential to run. In 2020, I joined two running club, working with Claudio, and that's where I came and found an opportunity to run, and he coached me, and I started running from there, and found myself running good from half marathon, 10Ks, and up to now, I've realized again I'm doing good in marathon. Yeah.
You had to be very patient. I read a story about you in 2023 when you said that your target at that time was a 10K spot at the Olympic Games in Paris. Those plans clearly changed to the longer distances. Why and when did that happen?
Yeah, it was planned like that, and then finally I decided to run my road races, which I didn't manage to compete in 10,000 trials in, I think it was run in USA, and remember the place, but it was something that I prefer not to run the 10,000 in Olympics.
Yeah. In terms of your personality, how you are, you've been described by Colin Thomas, a Scottish coach who worked with you a bit in the past, I think. He's described you as quiet and shy. You didn't want the spotlight on you. You never pushed coaches or agents because he always wondered whether you just felt within you that you would get to the top eventually if you were patient. Do you think that?
Yeah, true. I think that's the kind of my behavior. I don't have much talks. Yeah, it's mostly I like being quiet, and that's it. That's my nature.
It's a bit rare for top level athletes to be like that. You're very humble. When you won the half marathon gold medal at the World Road Championships in 2023, not many people knew about you. At that point, when you won, did that give you the belief of what you could achieve going forward?
Yeah, true. That's the year I realized I was capable to run half marathon well, and even marathon, because running half marathon well shows off that in the future you will come and run maybe full marathon well. So it gives me hopes that one day I will do much better in road running. Yeah.
And when you made your debut, your first marathon in Valencia at the end of 2024, you were only 12 seconds off of the fastest ever debut for a man in a marathon. Did that time take you by surprise, or was it all in the plan?
I think it was a surprise day, because I was not expecting to run like that, because it was my first marathon. So I was much surprised.
Yeah. So did you just feel better than you expected to push it faster?
Yeah.
You make it seem
Actually,
so
because,
easy.
Yeah, because having not having experience in it, and then found it ran well, that's something different. Yeah, but it was a surprise.
But it's not just your speed, Sabastian. It's also your tactics, how you work through races. In London last year, around 30K, when others were getting their drinks it seemed like they all switched off and you saw your opportunity to go. Was that the case, or was it the plan? Because it looked like you saw that everyone else had sort of maybe lost concentration and you went.
It was my plan. So
Oh, it just
I had
looked good
to,
then.
yeah, I was ready for that kilometers, and then I say, let me now decide to move away, and that's it.
It's surprising because
Yeah.
if anyone that has done a marathon before at any level, when you get to 30 kilometers, that is when it starts to get very painful. But you managed to push the pace rapidly. You really increased, and no one else could live with it. So in your head, are you thinking, I have to work so hard now?
Yeah, I had I had whole plans in me because I knew I need to push and try to maintain it and to win, and that's how I had in my mind came through, and I won the race. It was something well planned.
In Berlin, that has been described as the fastest marathon ever run in conditions that felt that warm. Was the world record on your mind that morning? Did you feel like it could happen because it felt like you chased it, but you were on your own for so long and it was so warm?
In my mind, I was expecting to run fast as I can, but finally, the weather was not in our side, and I had to accept it because sometimes what you expect can change. But I had a much expectation to run fast as I can.
Mm-hmm. Lots of people are talking about you as the most likely person to break the world record at some point. You need to find exactly a minute and a half to tie Kelvin Kiptum's 2 hours and 35 seconds. If lots of other people are talking about it, how much do you think about it?
Yeah, in my mind, I had that idea of running a world record, yes, but depending with how the condition and how I had planned myself, I think if anything, all that I had planned for it goes through well, I think running a world record will not be something not to happen. It depends on how my preparation and the condition of that day, but it's possible.
And if everything is right, you feel good, the conditions are good, where do you think is the best place to run that world record? What's the best course?
I think for now I can say Berlin. Yeah.
Yeah. Better than Valencia for you as a fast course?
I can still say Berlin because I feel how it was. So Berlin, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, Sabastian, there's a lot to talk as well about someone eventually breaking 2 hours in race conditions. Obviously, Eliud Kipchoge has done it before, but it's not official. But do you think it is possible? Do you think a sub-2 is possible for you?
I think there's not something possible. Everything is possible, but with time, I can say if I'm well prepared for it and going to a nice course and find it a good condition, I think nothing is difficult. It's possible. Yeah.
You have to be prepared to suffer in the pain as well. How do you do that? What do you use to fight through when it's hurting so much?
I think in my side is just to think how you have been prepared for the race. So it's not something hard, just imagination of how I've been preparing for the race, and that's what kept me moving mostly in a race. So I'm mostly thinking of it. I've prepared a lot, and why giving up? So let me just keep pushing, knowing myself I was ready for to race, and that's how it works mostly in my side. Yeah.
Can we tackle the anti-doping question? You've said doping is a cancer, is what you told one reporter before, you get a lot of credit for being tested as much as you are. 25 tests before Berlin Marathon. How many leading up to London in 2026? Is it the same kind of thing?
I can say not much same, but they're doing it, but not the same as like I was preparing to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sponsors have picked up the bill for those tests. We spoke to your training partner, Benson Kipruto, recently. He said if the resources are there, they'll test your training group all the time to show that you run clean. How frustrating is it as an athlete at a top level that you feel like you have to do that to show that your time is legitimate?
Yeah, I think it was true. Doping has become a cancer, yeah. And we need to accept it because running fast mostly needs to show a good result that even they're all running well, new Sebastian is running clean and without any doubt. So we need to accept it and do it multiple tests to prove ourselves and even to show the world as two running club we are fighting about doping and there's no way we can because we need to do a lot of tests to make our running clean and our group clean and to make easy in running to create that doubt to the world. So something now getting to us being normal and we need to accept and we are ready anytime and any day. So I can say it's a must now for us to do and show the world we are running clean and we don't have any doubt about running.
Yeah, it's great that you do that to try to show how transparent things are. My last question on this: the head of the athletics integrity unit says that doping's become a serious problem in Kenya, and that is beyond question. Obviously, Ruth Chepngetich at the moment has the women's world record, and that's a problem for many because she's now serving a ban for a test after she set that. Does it make you angry when you see other Kenyans who have been caught doping? That automatically sometimes makes people doubt your achievements or achievements of other Kenyans?
Yeah, obviously it's not something good because having such a case like that can make you, even when you're running, you feel like why, even when performing well, feel it's something normal because when people realize somebody like Chimwitich is running, then all of a sudden Sabastian is running. Obviously, the world now is saying, "Oh, we don't trust like all Kenyans because of one person, maybe like running fast, and then finally she was caught." And so, for me, in my side, I'm not feeling good because they are damaging our clean running because not all of us we are doping because we are just even I myself I'm not feeling good because why cheats and go and run and damage the frame of other athletes fraternity. So I think it's not something good and I'm not happy about it. But what I can say is it's good to run clean and have a good career and be a role model to other young upcoming athletes in future.
Yeah, great to hear. What is it about the London Marathon which is special for you? What's good about it that makes you want to come back?
I think first of all, I'm still on my preparing section and I'm preparing well. Focus on it and going to London for the second time. I think is going to try to defend my title and try to run as fast as I can, like last year. Yeah.
And the course record, the target 201.25, that belongs at the moment to the late Kelvin Kiptum. Is that something that's the first target for you to break that record?
I think for now I can say, yeah, I had that in mind, but it's good to go to London this year and try to prove it. So I can't say anything for now, but it's in my mind to run a course record. So I can say, let me just go and try to run fast as I can. Yeah.
When you think about Kelvin Kiptum, it's such a tragedy to lose his life so young. Do you ever wonder what he could have gone on to achieve and how much you might have loved to have raced against him more?
Yeah, Kiptum was such a talented guy, but finally we lost him in a tragic accident. Yeah. In during his time, and I remember those time I had to run my own half marathon, and I had hopes one day I will race with him, but finally we lost him. But he was a talented guy, and he has a lot to do in running.
Just last one on London. Is there do you enjoy competing in front of those big crowds? It's very noisy in some places. Is it unlike any other marathon that you run, the fact that there's so many people out on the course?
Yeah, it's good because it gives us it's mostly I'm feeling much encouraged running with that talk from the crowds, jeering, and also maybe that I can say that jeering is something good because it's even give you enough strength to keep pushing, and finally it makes the race life and enjoyable because of them. It's making the race looking so nice and making it feeling you are being watched and having that mentality of let me do it well because of my support from the crowd. Yeah, so they're the nice people and I really like them and I really doing my best not to let them down because they have come to jeer us and make us run good.
Yeah. I won't keep you much longer, Sabastian, but the last few questions. Vincent told us about how good it feels winning a medal wearing the Kenya vest. And you've done it at the Rose World Championships in the half marathon. Do you at some point want to have a go at a world or an Olympic marathon? Do you think championship style racing suits you?
Yeah, I hope one day I will try to run and a championship or an Olympic. I'm ready for it because it's really amazing because having a medal is something good. You are recognized well, and it makes your profile and keep your name up. So it's something good. So I hope one day I will try one of them, either Olympic or championship.
Yeah. So maybe Los Angeles in 2028, do we think?
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
We share a sponsor in Morton. How much have their fueling products helped you and what is your go-to for certain sessions and your races?
I think Morton has become so important to us, mostly in our training and races. There are good products because mostly we used it before training and even after during training and after training. And it does help us because we recover well when using it and it improves the performance, of course. And it even make you feel strong even sometimes taking it because it helps a lot in recovery and it does help us a lot. And it's a nice product and we really like using it. And because of good performance, I think more than is now the best of all.
And my last question, Sabastian, there are a lot of people listening to this podcast who will be training themselves for a marathon. Maybe it's London or somewhere else at any level. If you could give one bit of advice to any runner who might be running a marathon this year, from man right at the top of the game, what would you say to someone that was the work for anyone?
I can say marathon is not hard to run. It only needs hard work, patience, and discipline in it, and just being ready when the times comes for the race. And finally, you will achieve a nice performance depending on how you follow the process of all that I've tried to say about it.
Yeah. Well, look, Sabastian, it's been fantastic speaking to you. We're really enjoying watching you in these marathons, and best of luck for everything in 2026 and of course for the London Marathon. We really appreciate you giving us your time.
Thank you so much.